Welcome to Archeotech Assimilation, where we discover and investigate the technology of the Imperium and the tools of chaos. Hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of Archeotech Assimilation. My name is John, and I'm joined today by Glenn.
Hello.
And Dave.
Hello.
How are you guys doing? Hope you're well.
Yeah, I'm
Not
good,
bad.
thank you. How are you?
I'm very good, because
Good.
we're here with you talking about cartoons. My favourite thing to do. So, this episode we are looking at episode 2 of the Tau-based Warhammer series called the Exodite. This episode is called Inferno. And before we dive into it, guys, how did you find episode 2? A little bit short, I know.
Yeah.
Other than the length, I enjoyed it. That's what she said.
Hello.
No, there's definitely some really good bits in it, but I'm beginning to get a bit frustrated about the length and content within Warhammer Plus, I think.
Mm-hmm. But this comes on the heels of they announced you're going to get more animations more often, and then the next day, oh whoops, this episode is going to be delayed a week.
Delayed, yeah.
So that was a bit annoying. But generally, like, again, animation's great. I enjoyed what we got. Whether it progressed the story or how it progressed the story, we'll get into in a minute and talk about at the end.
Yeah.
But I thought it was it served its purpose. It's going to tide me over for next week, but next week does need to be a longer episode, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And there needs to be one.
Yeah, it needs to turn up this time. So, for those who are watching along, if you haven't seen one of these before, I'd say go back and watch episode 1 and check out the other animations we've reviewed and stuff like that. But we're going to go through the story beat by beat, so spoiler warning, and we'll talk about what we liked, and then we'll sum it up at the end as always. So, episode 2 kicks off with a nice cameo from Tau Tom Hanks, which I enjoyed, where he's crawling along, plops himself up, and then fires his I don't know what if they I imagine they don't carry bolt pistols, but whatever type of pistol Tau carries.
Bolt pistol.
Yeah, and shoots it at the tank. However, instead of the tank exploding, the tank off screen runs him over, and you hear this guy scream out in pain as he gets squished. But I quite enjoyed the little homage to Saving Private Ryan there.
It's a cool opening scene.
Yeah. And it cuts to a wider battle where we see many more Tau soldiers on the ground, disembarking from a ship, drifting off, and gunfire going in all directions. The ship fires at 2 Imperial tanks, one of which I assume is the one that killed Tau Hanks, and takes those out. And yeah, from the wreckage and the dust of these 2 exploding tanks, a Titan emerges. Now, I couldn't tell, I'm not 100% certain what legion it belongs to. I don't know if either of you picked up on the markings and want to hazard a guess.
No, quite dark.
Don't know my Titan legions, to be completely honest.
Yeah. So I don't know who they belong to, but yeah, it was a pretty epic out of the dust scene, which is something I think that the animations have been pretty good at, of these. Especially with the dreads on the Blood Angel show, coming out of darkness, and you see this epic hulking beast killing machine coming towards you. So the Titan takes out the ship, slicing it in half, pretty much, and our Tau crew, who we met in episode 1, are watching from the distance. And to make things worse for them, we find out that they landed way off target. And the squad ask if they can use their cloaking devices to stay hidden. But Lako Ma says, no, this will waste power. Plus, we're too small to be noticed at the moment. And someone suggests they try an air advance then to try and get closer to where they need to be. But before she can answer, the Titans start taking heavy fire. And we get to see its shields go up, and a squad of flying Tau attack. That was cool, wasn't it? But they're not in ships. They're just
no, they're the I think the Crisis battle suits.
Hmm.
Those
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah,
And they're usually they've all got jetpacks. Yeah, they soon get dealt with, don't they? But
mate. Yeah, there's a brilliant shot of when you got that squad. Like it's quite blurry because it was an action shot, but there's like 10 of them floating around, and those two beams just turn that guy to dust. It's just like completely minced him.
I think the most distressing part for me for the first bit and the destruction of the Manta. That's £1,000 that model. That's very expensive to just lose from that shot from one Titan. That's a poor saver on that one.
Oh mate, how many points is that? £1,000 model?
I don't even know if you can. I don't know how you can do it. It's a Forge World model.
I thought
I haven't even looked into it. So
grim.
You-
So
It's new model syndrome, obviously.
yeah,
is that his first time out?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, someone rolled a 1 and it self-destructed. Anyway, so from the wreckage of that, a second Titan appears supporting the first one, and together they take out the Tau flyers, like swatting flies. So seeing that that's a bad idea, Lacoma tells her team that if they try and advance, that's what's going to happen to them. But she does say that they didn't die in vain. They burn brightly for the greater good, and everyone repeats for the greater good. Very, very hot fuzz. And yeah, in order to honour them, they must locate and capture the evasive Aldari. Eventually, they locate a beacon, in which they're very dismayed to see has already been activated by the Aldari. And they check their map, and they see the beacon is one of many that is feeding towards a growing convergence. Each smaller beacon contributes to the larger focal beacon, which they do not want to get activated. We're not quite sure why yet. And they work out the location of the next beacon that is most likely to be activated, and they're going to go there and set up an ambush for the Aldari, and they take to the air. And that beacon to me looks like a save point from an old PS2 game.
Yeah, that's Rayman.
Yeah. It's literally, yeah. And then as they take off, the glowing dust disappears behind them. I don't know if that's just aesthetic or part of the storyline, but that's what happened. And then they touch down amongst a squad of Krieg soldiers who've taken up position next to the beacon, and they take out the tank and blast them into bits, and then we get a little bit of Tau melee. What did you say the maneuver was called? The way they landed at your codex?
Oh, it's Montcar, so the killing blow.
Killing blow, and it was pretty good, pretty effective.
It's a philosophy, yeah. So it's just doing that basically.
And they had pretty good melee here, showing them up. They did a good job. As you can see, like that guy getting punted across the screen. So once the Krieg are dealt with, the Tau begin to secure the site, but they only get about 2 seconds before one of them gets sniped with a headshot, and then a drone gets taken out, and they go into cloaking mode, and we get a look at our assassin face on for the first time. He takes another shot and dumps his rifle and runs in, spearing one of the cloaked Tau through the back of the leg, but doesn't kill him. Lacoma orders them to incapacitate the Aldari and not to kill him because they need it alive. And the Aldari charges towards the beacon, and one of the Tau is standing there shooting rapidly but misses every single shot. And somehow the Aldari jumps up behind him and stabs this Tau back through the back into the chest, activates the beacon, and vanishes. The survivors look at the dead and say, again, their fire has gone out, but they will carry their embers forward for the greater good. And again, hot fuzz, the greater good. Then one of them is surprised that the Aldari didn't kill them, and Lacoma says, look, the Aldari is clearly just here for the beacon. We just happen to be in the way. And as they're making plans to move forward, a Krieg soldier quietly gets up and sneaks up on the Tau and bashes one of them in the head till he falls down. And they shoot him. It takes quite a few shots, but they kill this guy and laser his head off. And the episode ends with the sound of horses charging and the Tau fall back. So that's it was a very quick episode, a lot of action. So now we've gone through, what do you guys think?
I liked it. I enjoyed it. but perhaps I'm being a bit cynical. It felt like, from a Warhammer point of view, we're not putting enough content out. Let's stick a couple of knights and some Kriegs beating up Tau in a short episode, and that will get people off our backs for a little while. Well, I don't think it advanced the story very much. There wasn't sort of much to it. A couple of the scenes were like really, really cool, don't get me wrong. And it's a bit more of an introduction sort of to the squad and on what they're doing. But that could have sort of been covered in a different way. It just seemed like I didn't progress the story very much. It was just so short. So, but I mean, graphics wise, the content, it wasn't bad. Like, I enjoyed it. The knights come in and the actual fight scenes were quite cool. But like I say, it just didn't really add much to the story. So.
I think you are definitely being cynical, because it's like I said when we was watching Angels of Death. When you watch it individually, it feels like, especially when it went back in time and we did the prequel bit that you really liked. I think if you watch it as a movie, when it's all out and you watch it in one and you binge it, it won't be so bad. But because we've waited a long time for it, it feels like a bit of a kick in the teeth.
Yeah,
so I get you there, but I do think in the whole scheme of things, this is a movie that's been cut down into however many episodes, and it won't be so bad in the long run. But definitely,
no, definitely,
they can't afford to miss next week, because that will really pee people off.
It's just frustrating. I think that everyone who's got Warhammer Plus wants more from it. And you got it's just a bit frustrating. But like you say, maybe if we watched it all together, it'd make a lot more sense, and it would be a really cool 10 minutes of the movie, so to speak. But yeah. Glenn, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I just think visually, it's cool. It's very, very nice to look at, but I don't care.
No.
I couldn't give a toss about the squad, about the mission. I have no buy-in to them at all.
Yeah.
They're just some silly communist fish people. They're not exciting or entertaining enough.
No, there's no Orfeo
whereas,
yet, is there?
No, whereas like we had a good squad dynamic and interesting characters in the Blood Angels one.
Yeah.
This one, don't care. Really don't care. But equally, this is called the Exodite, not the Tau thing. So, this is a story about the Eldar. This one character. So I want to know more about him, which is the only reason why I'm sort of going, I'll give it more time. I want to see what they're going to do with it, because I want to know about the Exodite.
Yeah.
This squad that's just going around doing stuff, they're just there to progress the story. Same as the whole conflict that's going on there. That's all happening in the background, whilst the Exodite goes and does whatever he's up to.
The level of Rayman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a very easy job, isn't he? All he's got to literally do is lay a finger on these beacons and they're on. Like, easy job. All right, fine, you got to kill some Tau and avoid the Krieg, but very simple job he's got.
Yeah, just one guy running around just going, boop. That's it.
I do think, like, in episode 1, they tried to set up the squad and give them a bit. I think it's very hard to.
They might have done. It's that long ago. I can't bloody remember.
No, yeah, but they're all behind. Obviously, they're all wearing their suits, so you're not seeing their faces.
Faces.
They're not like with the Astartes. They're very slight changes to their armor, so you can sort of pick them out, the ones that you need to. And they were having a bit of a laugh, but they've killed half of them. And I couldn't tell you which ones from episode 1 are still, apart from Lacoma, the main character. I couldn't tell you which ones from episode 1 are still alive. Like the 3 that were having a bit of banter, are they the ones that have died or not? I don't know, because there's no.
Perhaps that's the point as well. So perhaps they just sort of get to a point and they'll all be gone. It'll just continue with the Exodite. But
I do think it'll come down to Lacoma and the Eldari, and that will be the two main characters, and everything else will be, like you say, everything else will be happening in the background, and it will be their story. Kill the rest of the town. Just kill them on the next episode. First 2 minutes, bang, and then let's get into the story and see where we go. But yeah, otherwise, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll give it more
visually,
time.
really, really good. This is the best thing visually that I think they've put out yet on Warhammer Plus.
Yeah. Oh,
Hands down.
yeah.
So-
Before I forget, the little logo that's on here, Lost Legion Studio, is actually, I don't think they've done it at the end of anything else, but they're the studio that have made this show. And I know we talked about it before that Games Workshop don't really seem to credit anybody. So I put them on there. So they're on Twitter and Instagram. So go and follow them and support them, because they obviously doing a good job with this, and they need to be recognised, and it not just whatever they've called it in the past, the Games Workshop Factory or whatever it was, or the animation studio. So there are actual people behind this.
In fairness, if you look at the credits on all of the shows, it does mention who makes the episode. This is, I think, it's the first time they put up the logo of anyone who makes the episode. But I know all of them have, you know, the actual studio that's behind them.
Right.
I think there's been a couple of different ones over the
Yeah, because it normally says
various Hammer and Boulder and stuff.
I think it normally says Warhammer Storyforge. I think
That's the overall umbrella that everything
Yeah.
comes under, but you've got like little mini studios, same as like a massive games developer. They have like this name, and then you've got all the little people doing the actual work.
I'll tell you what, on the next ones, I'm going to make more of an effort to look it out and just put them up there as well, just so people know who's making this stuff, because I think it's not too obvious. Like I just said, I didn't even realise, and you did. So,
In fairness, that's because I've been trained over years and years and years by Marvel to actually watch credits.
yeah, cool. Right. So, has anyone got any other points, predictions, spoilers, or final thoughts on this episode?
No, just want more from Warhammer Plus, more consistency, because this is
Hey.
again.
In fairness, they did put out a really random thing today about arming a space marine, completely unrelated to any of the other sort of.
And I watched it, and it was
things.
really good. But again, 4 minutes, and it doesn't do anything.
I know,
really good.
but you know,
more.
they did say that we're going to be, you know, doing other stuff that wasn't just, you know, painting, lore and all the animation. So it's good to see that they're actually going to be following through, rather than just like, oh, we had a massive balls up this week, we have nothing to release. But going forward, this is what we're going to do. It's nice to see that they've actually, you know, give us something extra. I know it's short, but we'll work with that. I normally do.
If you're like us and you've been Warhammer Plus since day one, you're only 2 months away from getting your exclusive model. So the wait is nearly over.
Is that if you bought it in one go?
Yeah, I think it's like if you signed up, you have to do the year, and then if you signed up, I think it was like if you signed up at the first sort of month, then you'd get it 2 months earlier than everyone else, something like that. It was a long time ago, and we were just
tried to for the first couple of months, and then just gave up for a few months, and then eventually signed up.
Probably not.
No, you wouldn't still get it.
In fairness, they just knew it was you trying to sign up, so they were like, nah, fuck.
Oh yeah. Have you been back? Because obviously you can log in, because you can actually see on the thing, it'll tell you how many days you've got. So you can find out if you've been.
I've got to see if it's even got anything on there. I doubt it.
If it says 12 months, then I know you're
3 years, so I can get my exclusive model.
Unsubscribe. Cool. So, unless there's anything else, follow us on Instagram at Iron and Ceramite, Facebook, Iron and Ceramite, Twitter, Iron and Ceramite. Obviously, you're watching us on YouTube, so please do like the video. And if you've enjoyed it, do share it with your friends and anyone else you think that would like it. We've got a podcast. We've got the video one that's on YouTube with other bits and pieces. Or if you want to listen on the go, all good podcast services, just search Iron and Ceramite. We've got to dust off the Twitch. We've got to sort something out on the Patreon. If you're getting your hobby equipment, use our link for Element Games. Obviously it's got discounted stuff on there anyway, and then at no extra cost to you if you use our link. as a thank you. Eventually, we get a couple of pennies back for sending you. And then it's the battle of Shane and Glenn, and apparently a new player on combat cards. So join the clan and see if you can dethrone the Iron and Ceramite guys on there. And thanks for joining us. We hope to see you on the next one. And bye.
See you later.
As always, we would like to thank you for listening to our Iron and Ceramite podcast. If you liked us, then you can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and any other good podcast services. Just remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.